So what we're going to do in this tutorial is just to create an animation using the automatic options of cut layers. So for starters, we're going to see this video. You have here a man working, then stops, and then does a kick. That's what we're going to do using these automatic options. I'm going to close this. And for doing that, you have to adjust your time. You go here to time configuration, and then you choose your time. In this case is 210 frames per second. We're going to close this. And for all these kind of automatic animations, including layers, you need to select this base. And it's very important that you have here in your layers a layer name for your base, and this layer must be activated. So now we're going to create the cut motion layer, and we're going here in apps. We're going to click here, and we are going to select this cut motion layer. And for starting with the animation, it is very important that we get to the play mode. So I click here, and if I move the track bar, I can see the animation. So now I have to improve this animation to adjust certain things like this limbs coordination. And for adjusting this automatic animation, you go here to this cut motion editor, and you go in this case to limb faces. So we correct the limb faces, and we're going to press here play so we can see this character moving. And we're going to move these spinners this direction so the limbs coordinate better. I guess now we have a better coordination with the limbs, but still we have too many things to correct. For example, the pelvis is waving too much, the legs are too open, and the arms are also very wide open. And for that, we're going to select all the hubs. We know that the hubs are the most important bones in the cut system because they contain different limbs. In this case, we have 3 hubs. One is for the pelvis, the other for the chest, and the final is for the head. So we're going to select the first hub, which is for the pelvis, and we're going to hub 1. And we have here many options, and we are going to choose twist. That allows us to stop this waving that in this case is too much. And for that, we're going to click on scale, and we're going to drop the values. In this case, we're going to drop the values to around 20 or 15, something like that, 15 I guess, so that waist waves a little bit less. So we're going to the roll, and we're going to decrease these values to something like 7 or 5 I guess. So we're going to see that now the waist is not waving too much just by adjusting these 2 options. And we're going to close this, and we're going now to the legs, and we're going to foot platform, and we select offset position. In offset position, you can make these legs get a little bit closer by moving the values in C. If I increase the value, the legs open a little bit more. If I decrease the value, the legs get closer. So I guess here I have a good walk. Yeah, it's kind of a nice walk. But there are so many things to correct. For example, we're going to adjust the hub of the chest, which is hub 3, and we're going to adjust the twist and the roll so it doesn't wave too much. So for doing that, I choose a scale and I drop the values not to 0, because if I drop the values to 0, he's not going to wave at all and he's going to look like a rabbit. So I get to the roll option and I decrease the value to something like 5 or 10. I'm going to put it in 5, something like 5. I guess now it weighs a little bit less. So now what we're going to do is just going for the arms, and here in the arms we're going to make these arms drop, and for doing that we're going to select offset rotation, and we're going to decrease the values in Y. I see if I decrease the values the arms go up, so I guess I'm going to increase the values. So sometimes we have to play with these options, something like that. So it's getting better. And we are going to the collarbone, which is here, collarbone, and we're going to move in the offset option. We're going to move the collarbones, and we're going to, in this case, increase the values, so we see collarbones drop a little bit, so it's a more relaxed walk. I guess it's okay. If I rotate the viewport, I can see that my character is, in this case, a little bit too backward, this chest. So we're going to make it a little bit forward. So for doing that, we're going to hub 3. And in hub 3, we have this option that is called offset position. And we're going to move the offset position in Y, so it gets a little bit forward. So I guess it's okay. And now we're going to hub 4, and in hub 4 we're going to adjust the waving of the head, because I guess it's too much. We're going to twist, and we're going to decrease the values. We're going to decrease the values to something like 10, something like that. And we're going to roll, and we're going to decrease the values also something like 10 or 15. It is important that the character has a little roll and twist. If I see this character head is a little bit too forward, and we can make it a little bit backwards by going to offset position. In this case, we drop the Y values to get the position we want. We can go to the offset rotation, and we're going to move it in C to make it a little bit upper. So, and that's it. I get a very nice walk for this character. So what we're going to do now is just to create a line so the character follows the line. And for doing that, I'm going to close this, and going to the top view, and I'm going to stop the animation. And we are going just to create a line. We're going to the create panel, we're going to shapes, and we select line. I'm going to create this line, something like this. Yep, that's the work he's gonna do. And I get to the perspective view, and I have the line. What we're going to do next is just to create a dummy, which is in helpers. And here in helpers you select dummy, and that's it. And now we just have to make this dummy follow this line. And for doing that, we go to the animation menu, and we're going to constraint, and then to path constraint. And then we link this dummy to this line just by clicking on the line And then if I move this track bar, I see the dummy is moving along the way of the path. So what we are going to do now is just to select the base, and we go to the CAD Motion editor. Then we go to Globals, and then we click on Paths Node. And we just click here on this dummy, so we can make this character follow this path. So I click in this dummy, and as we can see, the character has dropped, and we're going just to adjust that by selecting the rotate tool. And it's very important that we activate the angle snap toggle so the rotation tool works in a more precisely way. So we're going to rotate this in 90 degrees, and then we rotate this in 180 degrees. No. Something like that. As you can see, the character is kind of following the path, but you can see the orientation is not the orientation we want. So we want the character follow the path just by kind of looking to the path going in the same orientation. So for doing that, we are going to the motion panel, selecting the dummy, and we click here on follow. So we can see the character has turned again. So what we have to do here is just to rotate again this character, again in 90 degrees. Now we have the character following the path. So I guess that's okay. That's the character working as we want. And now we're going to select the base, and we're going to click on CAD Motion Editor so we can see this panel, and we're going to select Globals. And here we have some parameters, and we're going to use this parameter max step time, which will allow us to create more steps or less steps. This parameter value is measured in frames, so we have 30 frames as the maximum step time. So if I put here like 10 frames and move the track bar, we're going to see that we have too many steps. And if I change this value to 50, for example, we can see that the steps are longer because a step takes 50 frames, and this man is walking very slow. I guess the best time here for a step is 30, so we're going to put it to 30. And that's it, we have the work of this character.